Well, Felipe, we're pretty much done with our regular check-in. I want to switch gears a little bit and have this conversation specifically about alcohol and pretty much the role it has had in your life, and more specifically in the reason why you're here. We've talked about how this is your second DWI, so you're gonna fill me in a little bit in terms of how alcohol play a role, but most importantly, how you drink and why you drink, so that we can explore ways in which we can support you in meeting the conditions of your probation in a way that you can be successful.
Okay.
And this conversation is going to be just like an extra 15 minutes. So is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, the first question is pretty much that one. Why don't you fill me in terms of what's the role that alcohol has had in your life? Or in other words, what are the reasons why you tend to drink?
Well, I've been drinking since I was 15, like going to high school parties and all that. I don't really think that my drinking's gotten out of hand. I pretty much now drink just like on the weekends with my friends, you know. It's this whole DWI thing, I think, has just been like bad luck, you know. It's not like I have a problem with drinking. Sometimes I just might drink when I'm either watching sports or, you know, just like I said, with my friends, coworkers. But yeah, I personally, like I said, think that it's not a big deal, you know. Like,
Sure. So you're saying maybe you getting caught was a little bit of bad luck, and at the same time, well, you also feel like you kind of have your drinking under control, and it's mostly a social thing. You drink when you are hanging out with friends, and you're saying it's really hasn't caused any concerns for you.
no, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so Felipe, I want to switch gears again and kind of get your thoughts in terms of what you know already about the risk of consuming alcohol at certain high risk levels, and how that might impact the condition you're in right now in terms of your probation. So what do you know already?
Well, I know about the health risks of drinking a lot, you know, like obviously it's the whole cirrhosis thing and all that, but also I guess the legal problems that it could get into if it does get out of hand. For example, in my case, like if I were to get another DWI, you know, like the third one is a felony, and so I understand the risks, but like I said, I really feel like I'm not at that level, you know.
Sure.
Like that it's, I mean, like I said, my drinking is more of a social thing. It's not something that, like, I'm an alcoholic, so.
Sure. So even though you don't feel your situation is that severe or that even deserves that kind of label, you still do recognize that alcohol can have an impact on your health, but most relevant to you right now is the legal aspects of it. And you're saying that it would be pretty bad if you got another DWI that would imply even more serious problems with the law, and you definitely don't want to go that route.
Right.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, can I show you this this bubble sheet of other not so good consequences that other people experience when they drink at certain high risk levels? So if you want to look at it and see if anything pops out as something that maybe you already have experienced, or that you would be concerned if this could happen if you continue to drink the way that you have.
Well, to be quite frank, the automobile accidents. I actually got into an accident once, and I was pretty drunk.
Okay.
But I didn't get any. Well, I didn't get caught or anything like that because I talked to the guy. I gave him my information. I told him, like, hey man, like, I'm already in trouble for a DWI.
Sure.
And like, I don't want to get into more trouble, so I just give him my ID, my information, and tell him, like, well, I'll take care of this, you know. And yeah,
you were able to make arrangements in a way that this didn't make things worse for you in terms of the legal situation.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it seems like something that could have turned into something really serious.
Yeah.
What would that been like for you?
Well, I mean, for sure, like that would have been my second one, and then with this one, it would have been my third one already.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, I got really lucky on that one. That the guy was actually pretty cool about it. Falls and other injuries, I guess too. I fell drunk before.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, I see some of this stuff, and I understand that like this is like stuff that a lot of people have experienced, but I mean, like hangovers too. Like I said, hangovers are pretty common when you drink. But I don't really relate to a lot of them. Just
Sure.
like the abuse of other substances. I mean, I've smoked marijuana since I was 14 on and off. I picked it up again a few years ago. I understand that I can't smoke while I'm on probation, so I'm gonna stop. But more than likely, like after all this is over and done with, I'm gonna probably still have a few drinks here and there and smoke a little joint here and there too.
Sure. But you know, you're right now you're being very responsible about the conditions of your probation, and you do envision that these changes need to take place, not only in terms of alcohol but also in terms of these other substances, and that's the key thing right now, that you're willing to do the work to be successful at this.
Yes, I do want to go through this without any problems, you know, not have any
Sure.
violations. So I do want to make the necessary changes.
Okay. So again, you're willing to make those changes.
Yes.
And you kind of want to get out of this situation and enjoy your freedom again.
Right.
Okay.
Who doesn't like freedom?
Right. And definitely this is not an ideal situation, or you know, something that you are like enjoying at all. And well, coming back, you mentioned the hangovers. You want to tell me a little bit about those, like, you know, kind of like
Well, I guess
tell me about one that was particularly hard.
Well, no, there's not one particular hangover that I'm like, oh, that one was really, really bad. But just, I guess, mostly when I go out to drink with my friends, you know, like, there's always shots involved, and, you know, like, I wouldn't say excessive drinking, but I mean, not your one drink an hour type of thing. It's more like a few drinks. So yeah, in the morning, I mean, you just wake up like hating the night before, and
Sure.
your head's just exploding. But like I said, I mean, I think hangovers are pretty common. I mean, at least for people around my age, you know, that like they're still going out to clubs, like I said, and still like doing all that. Like I don't know one single person that like drinks just 1-2 drinks and then just stops, you know. Just
Okay.
like, I mean, for at least for the most part, for my friends, you know, it's mostly everybody just drinks to get drunk, you know.
Sure. And you're saying the hangover is kind of like a consequence that you have, like you're willing to put up with.
Yeah, I think it's a price to pay.
The price to pay. Okay. You did mention also that there's some relationship there with health. Can you tell me a little bit about, you know, what would concern you in terms of how alcohol may affect your health?
Well, I guess I would never want to get to the point where like I'm actually killing myself drinking, but like I said, I don't do it too often where it's getting to that point. I haven't gone to go see a doctor. I'm sure if I were to get lab work done, it'd come back fine, you know. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I guess when it gets to that point where a doctor's telling me you keep on drinking, you're gonna die, that's when I'd be a little more concerned.
Okay. So if you got some evidence of a test, you know, of a lab result telling you, yeah, you are damaging your liver, that would be something that would help you rethink the way you have been drinking so far.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, like I said, to be honest, a few years back when I was actually drinking quite a bit more with like my friends, like completely getting drunk, blacking out and all that. In the mornings when I wake up, like I just feel like a little sore from here, you know? And I mean, I was a little concerned about it, but like I said, I never went to the doctor to get it checked out. But now, like, it's more of a social thing, just drinking.
Sure. So there was a period in your life where you were drinking a little bit more, and you would experience kind of the effects on your body a little more salient, like something that was concerning you a little bit.
Yeah, but those were the nights when I was like coming home like at 5, 6 in the morning, you know, just partying all night. I mean,
Sure.
I don't do that no
And
more.
you're saying, that's kind of behind the past.
Yeah.
Now it's a different story.
Yeah, now it's more like a few drinks during happy hour, or like if I do go out with my friends to the bar, you know, just like tops, just go home by the last call, you know, like not go to like the whole after party things and all that anymore.
So you made some important changes
Yeah, so I
in
guess
terms of frequency and amount. Can you fill me in a little bit about what made you make this changes?
well, for one, my job, because so since I'm a manager, I don't want to show up like completely like hungover and not rested and to work, you know. So that's one of the main changes. I mean, I guess I didn't want to affect my job.
So your priorities shifted a little bit from the social aspects of drinking and the fun to your job, and not risking your job and not, you know, allowing alcohol to kind of get in the way of your performance. Yeah. And of course, your job is important for you.
Yeah, gotta pay the bills.
So overall, if I was making a summary of everything you've shared so far, the not so good things about alcohol that, you know, you've experienced are the hangovers. You're concerned about accidents. You already had one where you kind of got lucky and were able to arrange that in a way that couldn't affect you in your legal situation. So there's also the legal aspects of it. You're saying like a third DWI would be definitely not something that you would want to be going through, because as you're saying, it's a felony and there's another set of situations that would come with it.
Yeah.
So that's making you kind of rethink things and be willing to take on this opportunity to make important changes, because you value your freedom, you value your job, and you definitely don't want alcohol to kind of keep getting in the way of those.
Correct.
Is there anything that you would want to add or take away from this?
No, I mean, you got it pretty much right on point. I do realize that alcohol has played a part in my life where it's caused problems. Like I said, I mean, especially now, like it's not how it used to be. I don't think that it's gonna really affect any areas of my life where I would really want to just completely stop drinking.
Sure. So you feel like you have this under control now.
Yeah.
And that you pretty much are gonna be vigilant in terms of how alcohol is playing a role in your life and how it might or not affect these other important areas in your life. Okay, so Felipe, now imagine we have this ruler that goes from 0 to 10. How important is it for you to remain abstinent in terms of alcohol and these other substances while you're on probation? 0 would be not at all. 10 would be the most important thing in your life right now. What number would you give to that?
I would say an 8.
An 8. So you're giving it a very high level of confidence. This is definitely something you're taking very seriously. So I wonder, why is it that you're giving it this high number of importance and not like a 5? What's making it an 8?
Well, because like I said, do really want to go through this probation thing without any problems, any violations. I mean, I don't want to have to make this any longer than it has to be.
Sure.
I want to go back to just living my life. So, I mean, I really do think that I want to make it a priority to just completely stop drinking, stop smoking, and just go with the flow with this program for as long as I have to, and then finally when it's all over and done with, just go back to my life.
Yeah, so you're saying you don't want to make this longer or harder than it needs to be. You're ready to move on with your life. And you want to make this a top priority to just be successful at this and quit the smoking, quit the drinking for as long as you're in this program.
Right.
Okay. So on a similar scale from 0 to 10, how confident do you feel that you can be successful at that? Again, 0 would be not at all, 10 would be completely confident.
6.
6.
Yes.
So again, that is a lot of confidence, and it seems like you're being realistic with yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
What-
like you said, I mean, just being realistic, because I know that there's also going to be a lot of temptation out there.
Sure.
I mean, if I don't make the necessary changes about my hanging out with my friends and all that kind of stuff, so yeah, it's going to be hard. So,
So you know yourself, of course, and you know that there's gonna be situations where it might be tempting to go back to the old ways, and but there is again a level of confidence. What's making you feel like a 6 and not like a 3? What makes you feel like you're gonna be able to do it?
well, because I mean, if this was maybe like years back, I would say like, no, it's going to be really hard, you know. But I think now I can do it. You know, I just really need to just be confident and be prepared that I need to make the changes in my life so that I can just go through this program and then be able to go back to like, how everything was. Just make the necessary changes about hanging out with my friends, or at least the ones that are bad influences in my life. Like I said, years back, that would have been a lot harder. I mean,
Sure.
I partied a lot, quite a few years back, but now everything's more calm now. So
You're in a different place now.
yeah,
and
I'm
you're
in a different
ready-
stage of my life. So.
And you're ready to make changes. And it seems like, you know, what's going to help you be successful and focused on this is remind yourself that you want to get out of this situation so that you can regain your freedom and sort of start getting your life back to normal
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Right.
Okay. If we were now to transition more into thinking of what this changes might look like, more specific, like what do you envision are going to be specific steps that you may need to take or may be willing to take in terms of staying abstinent and being successful with probation?
Well, for one, like I said, cut out all the bad influences in my life. I have a friend that's a huge pothead. That we hang out quite a bit, so and maybe just not hang out with that guy as much. With the drinking, I don't have to go do happy hour with my coworkers or with my friends. I don't have to have a beer while I'm watching my soccer games or whatever. Maybe even consider going to AA, you know, just to have that support group kind of in my life. But
So you already have some very good ideas of what would work for you, and you're definitely aware that nobody can make these changes for you as long as you own them and feel like this is something that you're willing to take on. And you're saying, you know, first thing, maybe this friend that smokes a lot of weed, it's one person you want to stay away, that, you know, may make it harder for you to stay away from that. You're saying happy hours, you're saying, you know, the drinking while you're watching the games might be I mean, it is something you're willing to kind of start cutting out, at least for now.
yeah. Yeah.
And so what do you think could get in the way? Well, you already thinking of ways in which you would decrease the temptations or the risk. What else do you think might make it harder for you to stick to these commitments?
Well, if I don't go through with the plan of just, you know, hanging out with those people, I mean, like I said, as long as I still have all those people around me, you know, there's always going to be that temptation. If I decide to, you know, go hang out with my friends at the bars where they usually go hang out, you know, even if I don't drink, I mean, it's still the temptation is still gonna be there, you know. So I guess if I put myself in those situations, well, it's just gonna make it harder on me. So I guess just avoid those situations would be the best.
So a way you're envisioning that you would address that, it's at least while you feel more confident or feel stronger about hanging out with them and still say no, you're saying let's just not even go there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, why even put myself through that?
Sure. Like what put yourself in those risky, tempting situations where you might be like more easily falling to, I'm just gonna have one, and then because you know how that goes.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't have just one.
Okay, so you're saying just avoid those situations entirely.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, what do you think would be some benefits that you would get out of sticking to this plan?
While I'm on probation?
Of remaining abstinent and kind of like, following all the conditions, everything we've talked about in our previous meeting.
Well, I mean, for sure some of the benefits are going to be like I don't have that risk of just getting into more trouble. My health will probably improve.
Sure.
Probably my performance and my job is going to get better. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that if I were to completely stay abstinent, there would be some positive results.
Okay. So even while you're doing it, just to kind of like get your freedom back and not get into more serious trouble, this would bring some other benefits to your health, to your job performance. Like your life would be impacted in a positive way out of you making these sacrifices, these changes. Good things will come out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
And one last question: who do you think could help you? What kind of like supports would you enlist in terms of helping you be successful at this?
Well, for sure my family. I know my mom's always been a big, huge person I could count on, that like she would be totally for me just stopping the whole drinking and partying and stuff like that. I'm sure I can make better choices in friends and not just choose the drunky ones.
Okay. So you have some options of other friends you can do other things with that may not involve alcohol, and that might be more supportive of you making these changes while you're on this.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe even, when I do go to AA, just making friends there, just doing stuff with them that I know there's people that are also trying to quit,
Yeah, like get to know people that are going through similar situations and kind of learn also from their experiences.
Yeah.
And you're saying even making some other new friends that may have more positive influences on you. Well, since you mentioned, is that okay if I share with you some resources that could help you in being successful at making these changes and staying abstinent during probation?
Sure.
Is that okay? So here's a list of resources in the community. You mentioned AA, so we have a list of classes at different areas of the community at different times. So whatever is more convenient, you're saying that you think that that's something that might help you. The information is here. There's also your counseling classes, your group counseling, all of the stuff that we as a department put together to make sure we support you in making this a successful story. And remember, this is what we're here for. And so take that with you. And so just to finish, again, I just want to do a final summary of your plan. You're saying, the main thing is, the main steps that you're envisioning that you're going to take is stay away from tempting situations, particularly certain friends that might make it a little harder for you to stay on your commitment. And you're saying not go to happy hours. You're saying maybe do take that opportunity to go to AA meetings, make different kinds of friends, or hang out with other friends that might be more supportive and a more positive influence in your life. Some benefits that you mentioned is that this is going to impact your job performance, maybe your health in the long run. And the main thing is you're going to get through this as soon as possible and get your freedom back.
Right.
Am I missing anything?
No, you got it right on point.
Well, see, that's pretty much this conversation. I want to thank you again for opening up, for your honesty, and remember, I'm gonna see you in about a month, so we'll keep checking in and talking about this and see how we can support you with this.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.